Okay, so we're gonna move on. City traffic engineer comments?
I won't have any today. Our time, but
Traffic and mobility, T&M commission. Anybody else?
actually, I do have one.
Apologies, guys, I have to scoot.
No,
back.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There was previous request for an organization chart of Public Works.
Yes.
We don't have one. As we get one, we'll pass it on. I haven't seen one. I'm kind of curious too. But when we get one, and I think it's going to be dependent on some of the positions that we fill, like the transportation director, which is currently open. When we get that, we will pass that on.
What happened to with Sean?
Sean, I think, decided to move on.
Okay.
So we
I
wish him
thought
the
maybe
best.
I was getting old and feeble and I missed that.
Yeah, exactly, who was on?
Sean Harry was our transportation
No, yeah, I know.
director for a short period of time. No longer
He
here.
was only here for
One meeting, yeah.
like,
3 months?
like the other guy was only here for 3
Right.
months.
So
Sean came from LA.
Masood was
Yeah.
here for 5 months. Sean was here for 3 months.
Must be my
And
fault.
they,
Must be my fault.
I totally, yes. Stop
I
scaring
take
them away.
responsibility.
You can add Marshall to
Okay,
that
so anybody else has comments? We can go home.
I had one comment related to what you said at the very beginning of the meeting, because
Yes.
I'm remembering now what you're talking about. When Mr. Kim presented those 3 streets, which I think should be, typically reviewed by us. But I personally thought all those ideas were, your plan was good, I didn't have any issues with it, but the council said to come back on College Boulevard with something, because there was concern about, I guess, was it speed or, anyway.
They wanted us to explore all options.
Right, so even though it was suggested that they put in 6 to 8 speed feedback radar signs, but one of the councilors wanted more and asked that we explore doing things outside of the mobility element. And I'm not necessarily opposed to doing things outside of the mobility element, but I caution that we shouldn't, if you have a standard, and all you do is you keep making exceptions and break it, it's not a good idea. So my general comment is that if there is a problem there, and this goes for things that would come to us too, we need to know what the speeds are, and we need to know what the accidents are. So the concern was there was allegedly a lot of accidents, and there was a police officer there who said there were 3 minor accidents and whatever
Right.
over the last year. So in the future, or when you present to them, what I think is important is what was the cause of those accidents. So don't arbitrarily take actions that are not going to actually fix the problem. So if it's at an intersection, and you know this better than I do, and it was people distracted on their phone or running a red light, doing things in the middle of the road isn't going to do any good. So I don't know, when you go back to the city council, or when you come to us with that, it would be appreciated if there's a history of what's going on, how many accidents there were, and what the cause was. Was speed a factor? There's no sense putting up big speed bumps if all the accidents are caused by something that's not speed related. And I know traffic reports have whether speed was a factor in those accidents. So anyway, that's my comment.
Thank you.
Yeah, like Ranger Santa Fe, it was a drunk guy, a distracted guy, and actually speed wasn't the issue. It was so to your point.
Yeah. In addition to that, I would say that also the severity of the injury would be a factor that ought to be included. I mean, sometimes it's just property damage.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times when the public makes comments like this, it's based on their perception.
Yes.
Rather than actual facts, and that's why it's
Yes.
important that you do that. But including the other things like the severity and especially the cost and where it's located. Maybe it's all at the intersections, like the kids are telling us, which is our experience too when I teach the smart cycling classes. 90% of all the crashes are due to turning movements, either intersections or driveways and so on. So, and if that's the case there, and what good does it do to slow people down on the main street.
Inform the public.
Yeah, so it's, it's an education, problem, really.
And we want to be data-driven, so that's the type of data that we need to drive this.
Correct.
Chuck, you have any comment?
Just want to know from our new traffic engineer, when we're going to hear about Melrose North and Peter
I responded to you
When?
when you first brought it up.
A year and a half ago.
What was your response?
My response was, we were notified by the police because of a certain issue. We did the striping change to rectify that issue. There are concerns that you brought up about the trap lane, and I said we could address it, but it's going to take, because of the transition lanes involved, we can't just do it at the intersection. It's going to have to actually, in order for the lanes to merge northbound into the correct lane, that it would probably take an overlay or slurry seal to do that, a separate project. There may be opportunities. There may be a future project in the vicinity of Melrose and PR that I could look at.
Well, we brought this up every other month for the last year, and Marshall committed to getting back to us multiple times on it. There was also the issue of potential bike turning, which I brought there, which more than once, whoever was sitting out there committed to coming back to us on that, with the potential of putting a bike turn lane to the left side, as well as potential signage on the whatever you got to call it, the mast that comes out of there, which tells people that they're about to run into each other as soon as they cross the road. And so I bring it up at least every other month.
So since it's not on the agenda, can we table it until
December?
meeting?
Yes.
December, yes.
That's-
You're not gonna be here next month.
I'm not going to be here next month anyway, but
So,
I'm just,
Is there any way we can put it
we
on
keep
the
saying-
agenda?
we keep saying we're going to do
Just
something.
to make sure that we don't,
Do you need an agenda item to repeat what I said?
well,
Repeating what you said won't
Satisfying.
be satisfactory.
So a PowerPoint is.
A PowerPoint repeating what you said won't be satisfactory. A solution to the problem will be a potential solution to the problem. Or you can tell us to, pack sand, and we will,
Or you can
I
say,
think there's an
we'll do it the next
opportunity
time we have
as-
an overlay.
I think as John was saying, I think there's an opportunity in a future presentation to perhaps, in a recommendation to council, weave that in.
Yes.
This kind of brings up one of my concerns, and I don't think it's going to fit into your communications plan. But one of the things you did a couple months ago was to include a separate file on all the things, action items we asked for you to come up.
Tracking.
Restriping, it's a tracking. It's something that the federal government did all the time. But it's a way that we don't get lost in the space. And it's also a good way to report to the city council some of the things that the city or the citizens have come up with and their concerns, what we've listened to them, and what the status is. And it kind of, so we don't have Chuck or anybody else saying, hey, a year and a half ago I asked about this. So I think it's a good way, a track record to show that we are responding to these things. So that would be my solution. Maybe not as a goal or whatever, but I think that's very helpful. I know Encinitas City does it.
I think that's in my proposed rules and regulations.
Yes, Encinitas does it.
One of those for the communication, that's communicating something out on a consistent basis, so let's tie it into communications in next
I don't know
month.
how you want to do it,
if we
but
need a list of all the traffic accidents at that intersection, I'm sure I can get it. Because I work one of
you've
them.
got connections, don't you?
Yeah, I think I work one of those like every month at Melrose and PAR, so,
All right.
Okay?
and they're always ugly.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my patrol guys got hit there,
Oh, no.
but luckily he had a dash cam.
Well, that's a guy that, ran it like 5 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, he ran it like 5 seconds. Two guys two guys made it out in front of him, left turn, northbound left turn Melrose onto PAR. Two guys got by, he came, this was the third car out, he actually was the one that got hit on the red light runner.
Wow.
Just amazing.
Okay, so meeting adjourned at 7:10 p.m.
Oh, wait, I have a comment. You gotta ask me. Shame on you.